guys, and welcome back to some more Hypixel SkyBlock. Why does it feel like these minions are involved in like every aspect of my life right now? I don't understand. But finally, something good came of them as of the other day. Minion pushed out a brand new update to try and make these MFs actually somewhat useful. And that's indicated by these brand new green items here, the chili pepper. They have decided to make these minions mandatory. They are now a brand new collection, the chili pepper collection, which will be by far the hardest collection to max out in this game because you need 20,000 of the damn things. And yes, they only drop if you use the highest grade of fuel, which, let me remind you, is 22 million coins for 24 hours. But yeah, these minions got a little bit of a revamp because I think Mini realized how problematic they were becoming. All drop rates for the vertexes, the apexes, and the reaper peppers have been buffed by
10%.
And there's a brand new item in the chili pepper collection. Well, actually, there's 9 brand new items, but the one that matters the most is the capsaicin eye drops, which is like the most evil item ever. Capsaicin is what gives peppers their spice, and you can literally drop these into the minions' eyes, which makes them cry, and it lasts for 24 hours, and they get another
30%
increased chance of dropping rare items, which is sick because I'm actually starting to see vertexes quite regularly. When I checked through these earlier, I think there's at least 2 going round, but I'm going to claim all these real quick, see how many vertexes and see how many peppers we get, because they're supposed to generate around 5 to 30 peppers a day, and somebody do the maths on how many coins it would take to get 20,000 of those damn things, because they also made a slight other change. And that's that you no longer need all of your minions to be Inferno minions. As you can see, the rest of this chamber is completely empty. And we've actually decided to go back to throwing up some gold minions. We are so close to 100 million gold collection that I'm not adverse to having these whatsoever, especially since Derpy's right around the corner. So I really like that change. You only need 10 of these to get the maximum efficiency now. But obviously that means it's going to take even longer to max out the chili pepper collection. But this thing is actually sick. There are some dope items up in here, which we'll go throughout the stream. Before we actually hop into some gameplay, though, I do want to go ahead and fuel these guys up with eye drops because they're no longer crying, and I don't like that. The strangest thing about the recipe is that they require water hydra heads. I don't know what Minion thinks whenever he makes new recipes, but for real, this is like the most eclectic thing ever. We need to craft 5 of these every single day, and water hydra heads are quickly going out of stock. Like, what is this? 15 million coins? Frick off, bro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. And you're all about to witness the greatest thing in this game. I feel kind of bad because they did literally drop me an Apex last stream, but still, they've caused me so much suffering that they deserve it. Look at that. It is beautiful. Boom. And now all of them are crying and have an extra
30%
chance to generate me rare drops. I can't wait to go through the rest of the items in that collection because they kind of knocked it out of the park for a change. I want to hear what all of your opinions on the new collection are, because I think it's actually a kind of sick idea. Like, before, the minions were literally just waste all of your money on fuel and pray to RNGesus and never profit off of them. And the new collection, I guess, is at least a consistent way to maybe profit off of them. To be honest, I think the new changes kind of help more in that regard, like the increased drop rates for the vertex, the apex, and the pepper, and the fact you can now craft vertexes and apexes. Yes, that is actually a thing, so I'm so glad I sold off my apex last stream. To be fair, the recipes are hella expensive, and I don't think they're at all the intended ways to actually get those items, but it's cool that you're at least presented with the option if you're having no luck or if you're on an Iron Man profile, you know. The recipe for the Inferno vertex I'm really not a fan of because it's a stack of molten powder, which is like 50 mil plus coins right now, the price of 2 vertexes, and you need 6 of these things, which drop whenever your hypergolic fuels expire, which I think is a good system because that means if your fuel doesn't produce anything, you still actually get these and you can make a vertex out of it. But I think the recipe is far too expensive. And the apex I actually kind of like. It's 64 vertexes and a stack of molten powder. Right now, I believe that craft comes out to around like 2.5 billion coins, which is like the price of an apex if you drop one anyway. I actually think that one is super balanced, but I 100% think the vertex recipe should be reviewed. I really like that you can craft them now. I like taking as much RNG out of this game as possible, and I love the new minion changes, but I don't think the vertex recipe is it, chief. 2.5 bill balanced. I mean, 2.5 bill I still think is kind of on the expensive side for an apex, I suppose, but when you think of how rare that item is to drop from minions, it would be a shame if you could just craft it and it would completely undermine the excitement of dropping one. It'd be like if you could craft the Necron's handle. So So I like that crafting it is like a last resort option if you really want to. But you got to remember, you can still drop them from the minions. More people will be running the minions now because of this whole new collection thing and the increased drop rate. And the fact you only need 10 of those minions instead of needing like 30 plus of them, which is a massive, massive boost. And you got to remember, the further things go on, the more people will have T10 and T11 minions, which make 2 Apexes every single time 1 is crafted. So naturally, over time, the price of Apex is going to fall. It's just nice to have the craft as a backup, I think. Ooh, nearly 1 miller's profit. I don't care. That has never worked out before. I can't believe that actually just worked out. Let's go, dude. I've been under a rock regarding Inferno minions. Are they any good? Right, Mr. 30 Virus. Let me explain Inferno minions to you. You dump billions and billions and billions of coins into them, and you pray to RNGesus, and you don't profit from them. Even right now, they still have their flaws. This new collection is a massive bonus. Don't get me wrong. I think the collection is dope, and I haven't even gone into the items yet. I think it's interesting to have a collection that's so endgame. We've never really seen that before in Hypixel SkyBlock, and I actually really like that because the items are cool, but they're not 100% necessary. Like, if you're an early game player, you're not really going to be missing out on much by not having them. But for an end game player, the little bonuses they offer are actually really worth going for, and I love the collection for that reason. Also, perhaps over time, even if the minions screw you over, you can profit off of crafting items in the collection for other people, because I think it's straight up one that a ton of people are just never going to unlock. It is that difficult. But I really like that. I think it's an interesting approach to the game for sure, and makes the minions even more unique and less just so dependent on RNG. I got cornered and violated, man. Oh, I'm wearing a rabbit hat. I'm stupid. Anyway, the way the collection works is actually not based on RNG like the rest of the minion. So obviously the minions have a chance to generate Reaper Peppers, Vertexes, Apexes. We all know that. That's how they've been for a long time. I actually suck at dungeons right now. But the chili peppers work in a slightly different way. They're still somewhat RNG dependent. Like, I believe Mini says that if you use the highest grade fuel... Are we in a checkmate here briefing? What's going on? Is my guy lagged out? I think my guy is lagged out, and now I can't complete this puzzle. No shot. Also, thank you for the 2, Mr. Spam God. Can you visit me? I need you to sit on my couch. Wait, I know what this couch is. No, Cal, I beg. All right, I'll sit on the couch, bro. But I need to do something. Is this sufficient? Is this sufficient? I hate this so much. I just want to talk about the chili pepper collection, man. This is getting spicy regardless. I'm out of here. Now that we're finally in a run, I can discuss those damn chili peppers. So they are sort of RNG dependent, sort of not. I believe in the thread, Mini said, if your minion is fueled with hypergolic gabagool, in those 24 hours, it can generate between 5 and 30 chili peppers. There's not a wiki page for it, so I don't know if that's affected by things like the tier of your minion or something like that. But regardless, I seem to be getting a pretty hefty amount of chili peppers, and honestly, it's a super satisfying system. I love it because you actually see your minions getting quite a few drops, and chili peppers are kind of worth a fair bit right now because they're so new. But dude, the things you can make in this collection are unreal. So we'll start off right here with reheated gummy bears, which gives you a potion effect for 1 hour that gives you plus 10% combat XP from blazes and pacifies nearby blazes while fighting the Inferno Demon Lords, so you no longer have to take them out the caves. This is so dope. I love this item, and blazes are so fast now. With this and the buff to the Sub-Zero Wisp Pet, I can spawn blazes in like 40 kills. It's crazy. Going more into this collection, because that is just the tip of the iceberg, bro. There's a better recipe for sulfuric coal. Right now, it doesn't exactly work out with the price of chili peppers, but eventually this will hopefully affect the price of hypergolic gabagool, which will make fueling the minions even cheaper. There's obviously the eye drops. There's the entropy suppressor, which is a new reforge for the daggers, which is kind of cool, but it seems to definitely be more mid-gamey, which is weird to say considering Blaze Slayer is so end-game. But yeah, if you have a Wisp Pet equipped, you get 75 strength, 55 crit damage, deal 2x damage to fire pillars, breaking 1 grants 32 defense, and plus 1.15x damage for 60 seconds. It's all right. It's not the meta if you're endgame by a far cry. Next up, we have Cayenne, which I'm actually really close to unlocking, which is an an enchant that goes up to level 5, which grants +1 health per digit in your magical power, which is pretty cool. It's actually an equipment-only enchant. Next up, we have the stuffed chili pepper recipe, which is just like an enchanted version of it, I guess, for the higher tier crafts, because we have the jalapeno buck, which you can actually place on deployables. You can only place one, and I believe it gives you crit chance and crit damage, but not a whole lot. It's pretty decent. Also, I didn't realize if you stayed up there, it teleported you down. What? This is not Pog. This is... Hypixel, what are you doing? I heard the noise of him getting crushed. This game makes no sense. Anyway, the next item in it is actually by far the most exciting one, and I cannot wait until somebody has a high enough collection to unlock this thing. It is a brand new ultimate enchant for armor. Do you know how long it's been since we've had a new meta armor ultimate enchant? I can't believe that the last one we actually got was Legion in floor 5. It has been that long since we actually had a meta armor ultimate enchant, because the next one is Habanero Tactics, and this is level 4. Obviously, it goes up to level 5. At level 5, I believe it's heal plus 75% more from wands, deal plus 5% damage with axes, scythes, daggers, and katanas, and without smoldering polarization, that new gummy bear thing, you have minus 15 magic find, which is a good trade-off. I feel like obviously if you're doing Blaze Slayer, you want that, but this is the GOAT, bro. This is designed for Slayer. You have full Habanero Tactics. You have this on every single armor, please. Plus 20% damage from all Slayer weapons and plus 30% healing from wands, which is incredibly useful in like every Slayer, especially Blaze. But this is where I love the Crimson Isle even more, because the Crimson Isle kind of introduced the regular Skyblock meta and the dungeons meta. And I love that we now have an ultimate enchant for regular Skyblock, because Legion will obviously still be the best for dungeons. That is pretty much useless in dungeons, so you wouldn't want to be putting it on your Necron armor, but like your Crimson armor or something, absolutely. Habanero Tactics is like the most goated ultimate enchant ever. I actually really like it, and it's kind of crazy to me how we haven't had a brand new ultimate enchant like that since Legion. And to be honest, Legion is like kind of fallen off a bit, man. In the Crimson Isle, it's not that useful. Also, how did it teleport twice that quickly when I sprayed? I'm getting screwed over by dungeons today, bro. But yeah, the only problem with this is you do need 10k collection, which is quite a lot. It's taken me, what, like 3 days of fueling my minions every single day and spending like 750 million in fuel just for 1000 collection. It's gonna take a while to get there, but when we do, it's gotta be so worth it. It's quite an expensive craft for the time being. I feel like obviously over time, chili peppers won't be worth as much, but I really can't wait to have this on my Crimson armor, bro. It's gonna be so fire. And finally, the 20k, double what is required for this is Tabasco 2, which goes up to Tabasco 3, which grants you plus 3 weapon damage if you don't have a dragon pet equipped, which I actually think is pretty cool. I don't think it's gonna do all that much. Obviously, weapon damage is the best stat for damage. It's far better than strength and crit damage and all of that jazz, so it should be interesting to see what metas can come of using that enchant. I still think nothing will really beat out a G-Drag, but I like that they're trying to experiment with other ways to make other things more useful, especially since you can see it with stuff like the Cold Fusion Reforge with the Entropy Suppressor, where you obviously gain unique bonuses if you do have a Wisp pet equipped. I really like what they're trying to do, at least, and I can see the vision. So yeah, that's the brand new chili pepper collection, and I think you can all see what I mean when I say that it's actually really sick for endgame players, but early game players aren't really gonna miss out on too much from not having it, and they can always pay endgame players to craft those items or just buy them off the auction house. I just think it's a cool extra way to make the minions a bit more worth it, because Inferno minions are really expensive for what they are, but I do really love their design, and I think this is just a perfect way of resolving that. It sucks for completionists because it's by far got to be the most expensive and difficult collection to max out, but I think it's cool that we have a collection like that. Normally they're just like a thing that you can max out in a day as soon as the update drops, you know? So I like having a challenge. I just want to play some dungeons, bro. Can we warp him back in? No! Can we do this without an archer? Possibly. Yo, look, we're doing damage. Who says we need an archer? I mean, I don't have a team anymore. I'm third in chili collection, by the way. Oh, that's actually pretty sick. Oh, that's also actually pretty bad, though. If I'm number 3 in chili collection and I'm only at 1,000, Jesus, it's going to be a while before we see the top end items. I definitely do have some reservations about the minions still, though. I think this whole update is a step in the right direction with them, but there is still a lot wrong with them. I think the main issue is the price of hypergolic gabagool. I think it just requires way too much gabagool to actually craft in the first place, because 25 million coins a pop for 24 hours is just absurd, bro. They should either cheapen the craft a little bit or make it last a little bit longer than 24 hours, in my opinion. Because even as me, right, as Refraction, a man who gets pretty much infinite contraband and can do whatever he wants with coins, is losing money on these minions, okay? And I'm only third in the collection. I don't know how the hell 2 people are beating me, bro. They must have stacks. So I do still have those concerns with the minions, I guess. And also the vertex craft is not it, chief. I think they need to reduce the amount of molten powder needed for that drastically, like cut that in half or something. But overall, it's definitely a step in the right direction. Those minions have been upsetting me for so long that it's nice to see them actually having some positives for a change. Oh my god, we're about to get our second completion of the day, lads. Once we've made it through this, all 5 of us are still connected to the game. Oh, we got this. All right, let's... Leave me alone. This is not cool. We're doing it, boys. We're getting a second completion. What? Back to back? I mean, sure, cool. I will absolutely take that. That's actually pretty rare. What the? 30 will profit off M7 this stream, and I've done 2 runs? I've played M7, completing runs back to back to back to back for 2 hours, and I haven't seen this much profit. What is going on? I also think another change they could make to those minions is the fact you need hypergolic gabagool, the highest grade fuel, because there's lower grade fuels as well, but you need the absolute highest grade one just to have a chance at dropping chili peppers, which I think is kind of a lot. I think you should still be able to drop chili peppers if you use the lower tier fuels, because that would also help generate more gabagool in the economy, because hypergolic actually takes more gabagool than it produces to craft. I think they should definitely look into allowing chili peppers to be dropped from the lower tier fuels. I think that would help out things quite a lot and make it a bit more achievable for people who don't want to spend stupid amounts on these minions. Wait, blue got implosion? Oh, that's so unfortunate. F in the chat for my boy. That's not an F. That's kind of toxic from me. All right, Netherstalk says to visit them because they have this fancy new chestplate rune from a fire sale. It's the first one they've ever done that's not a pet skin, so it best be sick. Oh my god, is that it? Dude, that is sick. Grand Searing rune. You know what? I was scared to put it on something because obviously once you put it on a chestplate, it's kind of stuck on it. But I realized you can now remove runes from things. So I think I'm putting that on my Necron. I'm putting that on my Crimson armor. That is so cool. If you all cop any more of these runes that drop, you'll best know which code to use. Code Refraction, my dudes, because wow, I'm actually super impressed by that. Oh, it feels kind of weird putting a rune on my OG Black Necron chestplate. This would have annoyed all the exotic boys back in the day. Wow. All right, let's see what this is like in the nether. Oh, that is so hot. What the hell? Yeah, this is going straight on my Crimson armor as well, you know. This is sick. This is by far the coolest rune in the game. Oh my days. Should I get some hypergolic fuels on my trash T5 Inferno minions to try and boost my cash? Or do I go for G-Drag straight away? I would not call the T5 Inferno minions trash, bro. I only have T7s. I have one T8. Like, those minions are hella expensive, especially with molten powder prices right now. So I would say if you are going to use hypergolics, then it's still worth using on T5s. The only thing is you will probably not profit from them. I realized to profit from my minions, right, because I'm spending 250 mil a day on them, I need to drop 10 vertexes a day, which right now I drop around 4, even with the eye drops, which is really good. Don't get me wrong. That is far more than I was dropping before. Or I would need an apex every 10 days, which is statistically pretty much impossible to maintain. And that is just to break even. 10 vertexes a day or 1 apex every 10 days. Those minions are ridiculous, bro. They are brutal. I think obviously there's potential potential for profit if you max out the collection quickly and charge people to craft those items, and that's definitely something I'm going to do. But if you're relying on just the drops, you need to have money to burn for those things, man. I would recommend maybe waiting until the price of hypergolics drops, but honestly, I don't see that happening unless there are any changes made. Yeah, I love how quickly they generate peppers. I mean, you saw me collect these at the start of the stream, and this one already has 3 in it. There's another pepper in here. They actually generate them pretty regularly, and it's actually fun to loot these minions and not be depressed every single time, because it's only been, what, like an hour and a half since I last checked them. So they do actually make them quite often, and it's cool to see a lot more vertexes in these. Like I said, I'm dropping like 4 a day now, which is super hype. There's 7 in this one, but yeah, still not enough to even break even. It is what it is. If you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like and consider subscribing if you're new around here, and I'll see you all soon. Peace.